Well, to be completely honest, in my case, initially, before I had one particular experience I'll describe, I'm sure you'll ask me about that, I did have experiences which were highly unusual, and I felt that they could have been post-sleep issues. I didn't know whether to believe it or not. However, soon thereafter, when I had another experience with a person who was with me as a bona fide witness, and I was awake driving a car, it was obviously not post-sleep anything. It really happened, and there's someone there who witnessed the same exact thing I did. I would say that statement is not true in my case. In my case, I don't do drugs. I don't drink. At the time, I wasn't doing any of those things. The person I was with, the same story, and there it was, this incredible thing I'll describe probably.
Mike, why don't we just go right into it now, and go ahead and tell us what first happened.
This is before my Wyoming situation?
Yeah, we'll talk about the Wyoming situation in a minute. This is the initial things that began to happen.
Okay. I guess one of them, the very first thing happened when I was, there's several things that I could bring up. One was an experience that I had when I was in my apartment, living in a different part of the United States where I'm living right now.
Right, yeah.
Where in about the time span of around 1990, where I would wake up and open my eyes in my bedroom, and I was wide awake. I remember it like I was there right now, and yet when I opened up my eyes, the room was not there in its traditional sense. The room was there, but it had a blue color to it, and it looked strange. And then I noticed that there was like someone took a pair of scissors and cut out a scene in front of my face, which was not the room anymore. It was a scene looking like I was looking into a window of another place, and it showed a vast vista of mountains, and it was as if someone had a pair of cameras, and they were zooming you in to take a panoramic view as you were flying over this. And it was as real as me walking down the street, and it would last maybe 5 minutes, and then it would stop, and I'd get really upset saying, what a bummer, this had to stop. And then the next night it would happen again with a similar scene, and this would repeat several times. Those scenes, I didn't know what to make of them. I said, well, maybe this is some kind of strange post-sleep situation.
Hypnopopic trance.
Yes.
Post-sleep trance, yes.
And then what ended up happening was, this was the summer of 1990. And then what would happen after that is I'd wake up, and then I didn't see that anymore, but I would just casually look off into my living room where there was a light on, and I had a very big apartment, and there's these huge ceilings and stuff, so the room was lit up and looked kind of large. And I'd look in there, and I would see, to my surprise, two entities, beings, walking in my living room, which were sort of translucent in appearance, short. You could almost see through them, but not quite. And it's like they were just tippy-toeing in the room like two explorers discovering a new place. And one of them looked towards me and didn't even seem to acknowledge me. I'm sitting in my bed saying to myself, my God, what is this? And they looked right at me and looked through me, almost like I wasn't there, and went about their business, and they didn't come anywhere near me. They stayed in the living room, and I basically got tired of looking at them. I went to bed and went back to sleep, and the next morning I woke up and they were gone. Next night that would happen. So for a few nights in a row that happened, and I just got so used to them being there that I just basically just blew it off and went back to sleep.
So can you describe them, exactly what they looked like?
They were very thin, very, very thin. They were translucent in appearance, so like jelly, like when you see a jellyfish under the water, it's got that level of translucence. So it's well defined, but at the same time you could see through it slightly. And they had their heads were sort of large, not obscenely large, but sort of large, and they had ears. I can't remember the ears offhand. to be honest. I thought the ears were sort of small. They were definitely small ears, and their arms were very thin, and their legs were thin, and they were probably like and they had large eyes. The eyes weren't abnormally, well, they were definitely larger than human eyes. They were definitely larger, but they were not dark colored at all. The whole thing was this jellyfish kind of appearance, and they were probably around, I'd say around 4 feet high.
And so there you were, and this kept happening, and you finally blew it off as a probable dream state of some sort.
And that's what I said. I even talked to one of my friends, and I said, dude, I had the strangest dreams the past few nights, and hope I'm not losing it, you know?
Yeah, I remember feeling the same way. Well, at this point, Mike, then something must have changed because you didn't continue to blow it off.
Yes. What ended up happening was towards the end of this particular summer, which was, I think, 1991, way back, I decided to leave the area I was living in at the time and drive halfway across the country to a Midwestern state. And the Midwestern state would be up north central U.S. I don't want to give exactly.
No, you don't need to.
And I had to drive halfway across the country to get there. And I had with me a girlfriend at the time, and her profession was a massage therapist. She was very healthy and didn't do any kind of substances of any type. And I just wanted to leave where I was and go to this particular part of the country for various reasons. And I had a vehicle that I owned at the time, and we went in it, packed whatever belongings I needed to pack to do this trip, and we took off. And when we got roughly 2 or 3 days into the trip, we were in the state of Wyoming. And it was approximately 8 o'clock at night when we reached the town of Casper, Wyoming. And I wanted to go to a rest stop and eat something. And it was like about 8 o'clock, and my friend wanted to get out of there relatively quick, and I said I wanted to rest a little bit, which I did. And she wanted to go, I wanted to go due north, past Casper, Wyoming, up to the Interstate Freeway 90, I believe, which cuts across the country, because I knew that up there at that part of the state, there'd probably be lots of hotels, and I think we get there like at about, 10 o'clock at night, and that'd be kind of fine to get a good night's rest. At this point, we had been driving for a few days, and I just wanted to not be worrying about driving in the middle of nowhere. She, on the other hand, had this very intense idea that we were not going to drive up there. She wanted to go to a location where this place where there were hot springs up near Yellowstone Park.
Right.
And I said, we're not going there. I said just to go there would take probably 5 hours, and it would be 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'm not driving there. And I said, there's no guarantee of gas stations or anything. And she was upset by that, and I said, look, I'm just not doing it. And then she was upset. She was upset because she did not want to go to the general place where they're going to be hotels and make the trip more straightforward. She wanted to meander a bit. So then she said, well, let's go to take this road here. She points to a road that maybe a few miles north of Casper you take a right onto, and it's a small road that is one lane in each direction, and on the map it's barely noticeable, and it goes for at least 50, 60 miles through Thunder Basin National Grasslands, and then you go due north at a town called Wright, Wyoming, to another town called Gillette, where there would be hotels. So I did not want to do that route. I said that route goes about 50, 60s, whatever it was, 60, 70 miles through nothing. There's probably no towns. Thunder Basin National Grassland is precisely that. It's just a grassland. And I said, I just don't want to be driving through that. Why should we do that? That's going to take us twice the time to get to a hotel. We're probably not going to get to one till doing that probably till 11 o'clock.